Hello everyone, it's Matty HH5000 here, and it's been a while, so and I promised I was going to start streaming some games, which I am, and today we are doing the first one. We are doing Donald Duck Quack Attack. Never played this before. I played PK when I was a kid, but never this one, so it's going to be interesting. I can only assume the plot to it is that Daisy's in labour, Donald has to get to the hospital, clearly the Beagle Boys are in the front, so they're just being absolute fools, as she's in labour, they're causing trouble. He can't obviously contact Launchpad McQuack because otherwise the game will be over pretty quickly to pick him up in a helicopter. Huey, Louie and Dewey are going to have a new cousin, I guess, so it's going to be interesting. So relatively to begin with, I'm going to start reviewing and streaming Disney games. At the end of the day, when it comes to Disney, who doesn't love the D? And I'm a man who can take the D, all right? So when I take the D, I take it left, right, centre, up and down, left and right. So let's do this, let's have some fun. Hello everybody, and we are playing Donald Duck Quack Attack, as I said before, and as we start off, I can only assume we're at Gyro's place with this weird duck wearing a red jacket and a yellow hat. I literally find out what his name is at the end of the game, so guess what? You're going to find that out too. Anyway, so they're all watching TV. Gyro's making his popcorn as he does. Look at him go. And Donald is just having an issue with Gyro's remote, in which basically he can't turn on the TV. Which then goes on to Daisy, is a reporter for the news, I can only assume. And she's there with a lovely, lovely cameraman / woman. You don't see them, so I can't really assume what kind of gender they are. It could even be a they, them. It's 2025. And they all agree that Daisy is absolutely amazing at her job, and Daisy's walked in on seeing the crusty old beagle Murloc up to no good, as he does. Look at him on that machine. What does that machine do? That's the question, and this is the point of the game. In which the news goes off air and all the three ducks panic. In which this duck in the red decides to go, I'll save you, Daisy. Knocks this bowl of popcorn on Donald's head. Pretty hilarious. Donald gets angry. And as you can see, they're both angry. And Gyro's like, oh, you know what? I've got this gamma machine. It can transport you to wherever you want to go. In which the duck in the red decides to charge in front of Donald. However, Donald, being Donald Duck, has to take the long route. Hence the game Quack Attack. So, being this game is about Donald, I couldn't put Matty HH5000 in there, so I just put Donald Duck's initials. Gyro then sends you on a lovely, lovely mission where you end up in the mountain terrains. I can only assume it's either Canada or the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Hell, might even be Toontown from, what's that film called? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? But, yeah, you go there. It kind of has the Crash Bandicoot feel to it, but you don't wash up on a beach at the start. But the first level and the first island is pretty simple, and yeah, it's rather enjoyable. The problem is literally the jump button. As you can see here, it took me forever to get up onto the first ledge, and it wasn't very fun to do that, and it happens multiple times throughout this game. I don't know whether it's the controller or the fact that it is literally just the year 2000 when this game came out. Sorry. But yeah, either way, it does the job. It is quite fun to begin with. It does get a lot more stressful going on in the game, though, I have to admit. Throughout the levels, you will collect 5 gears in a row, and when you do that, it spells the word special. So you get one for S and all that kind of stuff up to L. And then Huey, Louie and Dewey will give you a special move you can do, in which this one is a personal favourite of mine, so here we go. Ring-a-ding-ding, what name? That's right, ladies, gentlemen and everyone in between, the ring-a-ding-ding, and I tell you what, it's a hell of a move, and you will see it later on in this this play-by-play. But yeah, like some levels are literally straightforward, other ones are literally like to the side, and then you come across this one here, which this is a very nice Easter egg. Like, you know, Nintendo, we want to say thank you, even though I was playing this on a PlayStation. And if you didn't already know it, here he is, a big cameo by one of the biggest gaming people ever, the Hand from Super Smash Bros. Right. That is right. He makes an appearance in Donald Duck Quack Attack. Yes, he does chase you. He is a bit crusty, but we can forgive him for that. Eventually, you'll get onto the boss battle of these stages, and in this kind of case, it's some giant chicken who sits on that really annoying duck in the red jacket, which, you know, I'm quite grateful for. And with the chicken, it lays like 3 eggs occasionally, and then, like, you know, 3 little spawns come out. You got to jump on the heads. Eventually you get to jump up, kick the chicken in the head, and just keep doing that over and over again. Eventually the chicken will, like, well, I wouldn't say die, it kind of passes out. You know, you don't want to say die in a Disney game. So moving on to the next island is a real famous one from the TV show DuckTales, and yeah, this one kind of has like a UK high street feel to it, especially if you've ever been to like Basildon or Southend. Like there's fly tipping everywhere, and there's just like a whole ruckus going on. It's just non-stop, really. So if that's your kind of jam in real life, then you'll probably like it in video game form too. But yeah, it's like, you know, there's literally, look, use mattresses everywhere. What's going on there? Like, someone really needs to clean this tip up. But yeah, overall, the hardness of it was quite medium. Like, it wasn't like the hardest like area, but later on you get to see some very hard levels. But in this kind of case, just, you know, this one's kind of like more down to the real world, and yeah, you get chased by that world famous Hand from the Super Smash Bros. Game again. Eventually you will go on, and there's 3 Beagle Boys you've got to take on as the boss, and you know, they're the ones like famous from the TV shows. I can't remember their names, but yeah, there's that really annoying red duck again, can't remember his name, but you'll find out at the end of the game. And yeah, so the mission of this is literally they will like use a massive like boulder on a crane to try and like drop on you, then like swing at you. So you got to avoid it, and then like eventually you got to like just aim it into like where they are, and they will fall off, and you just jump and hit them in the head. Once you do that, just keep going, and then like they will keep going and getting harder, where like even like they'll make holes in the ground to make it more difficult for you, and start throwing explosives at you as well to try and up the hardness. But as long as you just, you know, go through with it, it's quite a very simple like level, and like once it's done, it's done. So yeah, that was the Beagle Boys for you. But like, just make sure you're having fun on this game, alright, because it can get quite stressful. But there you go, just like walloped him into orbit. Some Donald Duck. I say orbit, he landed on his crane, but it was an impressive punch regardless, right? Anyway, on to the next zone. So this area is I called That Took a Turn for the Curse, because mainly it is a haunted house based kind of area, and I tell you what, it gets harder here. It really does. You'll see me lose quite a few lives on this area, and yeah, no, playing this the first time, I wasn't expecting this game to get that hard. Well, I haven't got to the final area yet, which is just unbelievable. But yeah, overall, you know, it was quite interesting, and like one of the flaws I think with this game as well is like just seeing you timed. But here you go, the whole thing about jumping again. Yeah, it was the bane of my life trying to jump on this game, and the fact of the matter is you couldn't like, you know, punch a pumpkin or jump on one to like, you know, end their existence, I guess you could say. Anyway, here is a word from the man himself. God, that might be the hardest I've done on any game.
While I sit here and edit, you're really going to regret that one, boy.
Okay, and back to the game. So, this, like, it was a really fun, like, area, to be fair, like, but it could get a lot, like, pretty stressful very quickly. Like, some of the things, like, pumpkins, like you couldn't jump on them, like, and it was just really annoying, or like you couldn't punch them. So if you landed on one, you would literally, you know, Donald would literally just end there and there. On top of that, like just the jump aesthetic in this game, like yeah, again, wasn't great at all. Like, you know, it was quite cool to see, you know, at the end of the day, this was the year 2000, so you got to give them their dues, and like this, you know, they did quite well on like these kind of things. However, have I got a treat for you right now? What we're gonna see is something big, and when I say something big, it's huge. It's time for the ring-a-ding-ding. Look at this. Boy is doing his thing, and you basically become invincible. It's amazing. Here we go. Let's run through a few villains. After losing, I decided to call it a day, and here's the second day. Now, I know what we all just saw, and it was very, very, very disturbing. It was Donald Duck punching a disabled duck in the back. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing it all, not even to a duck, a human, any animal who's in a wheelchair. Now, I know we all went to do it to Franklin in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because he was very, very, very annoying. But at the same time, don't do it. Be a nice person. Back to the video. That's a beautiful public service announcement. Thank you very much, mate. HH5000. Why, thank you very much. Anyway, moving on. So this game, like, it seems to get a bit more, like, nicer to you after this level. Mainly because there's one of them sideways levels, which isn't too bad. Eventually, there's only 3, like, levels before you face Magicka Dispel on this area. So, overall, yeah, it's pretty more chilled than, like, other levels and islands, obviously. Just you wait to that final island, I'll tell you that. It is horrible. But anyway, on this one, like, you know, they could have incorporated a few more, like, you know, Disney related, like, Halloween stuff, like, I can't remember if I mentioned the Haunted Mansion earlier, like, you know, imagine if they had the Grim Creeping Ghost in this, but they don't. Yeah, that was what the song was called. But anyway, that was that level done. On to Magicka. But yeah, so here we are. There's that really annoying red duck. Can't stand him still. Can't even remember his name. I'm sorry if, like, you're a diehard, like, you know, Disney duck fan and you remember what his name is, but he's trying to steal Donald's woman, and we don't appreciate that. You know, Donald's done a lot of work. He's always been with Daisy, from what we're aware. I don't know if they're just friends in this, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, that duck should know his boundaries, you know? And, like, you know, trying to not get with our guy's girl. So, anyway, Magicka was very simple, to be fair. Literally, like, you just had to avoid some, like, lightning waves and then, or, you know, whatever that is, energy, I guess. And then eventually she'd send it across the floor as well. And then, like, you'll just see, like, a little skeleton pop up. And then if you got it with, like, you know, above her head like that, as so, it would cause damage to her. So you just repeat that over and over again. And that was Magicka Dispel done. And it's time to go on to the next stage, in which I'm going to apologise in advance because it is a horrible performance by myself. Here we go. The most hardest part on the game ever. Literally. Well, there's that next TV as you just saw there, but I didn't unlock it, and I'm pretty sure you have to go back and do a lot more missions to unlock it, and I decided not to do that, mainly because of this area here. Now, are you ready to see some embarrassing stuff? Because this is just outrageous. Here we go. So, first level on the island, and yeah. Let's try again. Let's try again. Here we go. Nope. Okay, cool. Right. Let's keep going. No. No. Yep. Okay, cool. Right, yep. You can stop showing this now. Oh, no, okay. So, just when you think I'm about to do it. Can't. That's the thing. Day 3, to try again. I did always go back on this game to go and get more lives from the first level, because it always did help out when it comes to these levels, and I tell you, it will be your best friend if you do that, if you're going to play this game again, or if you're ever going to play it for the first time ever, like I did on this wonderful few days that I played Donald Duck Quack Attack. Now, eventually, with this level, and I'm proud to say that I did it. You think that one's hard. The next level, it gets harder. It just outrageously. Actually, the second level in this area wasn't too bad, if I can remember. It was the third level, but yeah, it was. It's the sideways level that is just the worst level. One of the worst levels. I think I probably dropped over 300, like not 300, about like 100 lives on it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But the second level is not too bad. I got it done on the same day, so I was quite happy with that. But here we go. This is where it gets emotional. I'm really sorry that you all had to witness that because that was just really, really shocking. And nobody deserves to go through that, not even Donald Duck. But eventually on day 4, things would end up getting better. So that, in my mind, is all good. But at the same time, I heard this duck many a times in Disney World. If you're watching right now, and Disney in general, please let me into Disneyland. I didn't mean for Donald to, like, meet his demise so many times. I'm literally very, very sorry on this one. So anyway, this level here, this part here was quite annoying because you actually you get past it, but then there was this ledge here. I call it the ledge of doom, where you just literally would just fall to your demise every time. As seen there. But I bet, we'll get past it after a few times, and like I said, with this level, I think I dropped probably over 100 lives on it, if I'm being honest with you, because it was that hard. So getting that far, there's me in the corner celebrating like no other. Then who makes a shocking return? The hand from Super Smash Bros. And I believe on this part here, you actually see an animation, and there you go, of me getting yo-yoed by the hand. But this was quite a simple level, and thankfully so, because at the end of the day, this would take us on to the Krusty Beagle, Murloc himself. So, we're brought to this cutscene. Yeah, very dramatic. It's Murloc, the final boss of the game. So, Donald's there, and there you go, you find out the duck in the red coat's name is Gladstone. I hate him. I hate him with a passion. I'm glad he got sucked up that gyro hoover thing, whatever it is. Anyway, Murloc wasn't the hardest. At the same time, it takes a lot of multitasking because you've got arrows, you've got fire, and you've got platform below you, just falling. So you need to really pay attention. And this part here, you need to find out which of the Murlocs is the real one. He has the actual crystal on his necklace glowing. So as soon as you find him, you just have to punch him in the face or whatever, and then he will fall, and you'll get a milkshake or orange juice in return. So it keeps you going on the level. So yeah, overall he wasn't the hardest. Same time, it took me a few times. So it was final boss kind of difficulty really. Unless there's an impossible one out there. Murloc was an alright geezer, to be fair, and you find out what he was doing. He wasn't really up to no good anyway, so he just seems like, here we go. He you know, Daisy's getting rescued by Donald, as you can see here, and at the end of the day, like he was in some underground temple by himself, which is always a bit suspicious. But he might just be a bit of an introvert, and you know, obviously he just wanted a friend. So you land on this machine. Gyro basically hoists you up, and you end up back at Gyro's gaff. So there he is, Gladstone, the most crusty duck you ever meet, and then the machine. So what does the machine do? Gyro knows exactly. It's chocolate popcorn. So literally, the whole premise of the game was Murloc was making a chocolate popcorn machine. Daisy caught him, and he was there like, no, you're not letting this get out. And fair play to him, if he wanted his own like chocolate popcorn business, and Daisy clearly had the eyes for Gladstone, so have that. But yeah, that was Donald Duck Quack Attack. So Donald Duck Quack Attack. Is this game retro or is it Regretro? And I am here to tell you today that Donald Duck Quack Attack is retro, yeah. At the end of the day, it has a lot of pros and cons about it. Pros being like, it's a fun game, it's like the animations are pretty cool, the soundtrack is banging. However, like the cons are like the jumping system and just some of like, you know, how like sensitive Donald Duck can be to like the actual like enemies and stuff like that. But it's a nice kind of short game as well. Like if you're not into like huge games and you just want to get like something out in the afternoon, you can probably pick it up on like eBay for like a tenner, or like maybe less than that. You know, just look at, you know, where you can. But yeah, no, overall it was a fun game, stressful at times, and I'd highly recommend it to any like fan of Donald Duck, because it's always nice to see him have his own like, you know, kind of thing, because like, you know, with Disney it's mainly all about Mickey Mouse, in this kind of case Donald Duck. So give it a whirl if you can, and if you've enjoyed this video today, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. You can even dislike it if you want, because you're fair to your opinion. So, but thank you very much for watching. This is Retro or Regretro. That was Donald Duck, and it's full on retro.